Dude, I was having a coffee break earlier and I saw this, and I was just like, what am I looking at here? So, Tyler is feuding with this person who goes by Godfoe Universe. I think that's the name of his comic book or something. And I don't know. I saw like Tyler's video this morning that he put on YouTube, kind of about this stuff of like why do creators hate money? Let's not go there. That's not what this video is about. This video is about rip-offs and knockoffs, okay? Creative media is littered with rip-offs and knockoffs. However, in this comparison, this is crazy. Saying that Eliana here, girl with the mega fists, you can see how mega the fists are. I mean, just look at them. The fists are incredibly mega. Is a rip-off of Common America. Number one, when the first Mega Fist book came out, Common America wasn't like nearly as big as it is now. This was multiple years ago. Common America was like successful. It was doing okay. I was glad to be in on the ground floor from being in on like Black Hops, the My Hero Macademia stuff, like those kind of fun books. My Hero Macademia is like a parody. If you want to talk about a ripoff, oh boy, oh boy, it's a ripoff. It's a parody of My Hero Academia. You have like a superhero character in a world of superheroes. It's just all the characters are also politically themed. Common America came out of that. She was a parody of Miss Marvel named Warhen. Right, there's your ripoff. I don't know why Godfoe Universe here had to keep going. But he says Eliana is a ripoff of Common America. You can see like the original tweet if I scroll down here, like there's a direct line between being popular and Tyler ripping it off. The origins of these two characters couldn't be more different. Common America comes from like a superhero tradition. Now it got like mutated a little bit, hence the common thing and all that, instead of just being Warhen. But Eliana comes straight out of like the shonen tradition. She is a shonen protagonist. She has big fists. What do almost all shonen protagonists have? Punch powers. Look at a Naruto, right? Like, what is his thing? He punches. He gets real mad. Then he splits into like a million him, and then they punch a million times. Like, it's pretty straightforward. She punches people with her soul power, basically. Okay. Common America. If I remember right, she has. Let's see, what is Carly's power set? She can fly. She's strong, tougher than normal, and she has lightning powers. Lightning powers and I punch you with my soul are a little bit different as far as power sets go. And it's really funny to make this comparison when Tyler legitimately has books that you could much more directly say are ripoffs. In fact, he mentions like Harry Potter in this tweet. Well, Sexy Witch Academia is, well, you can see the name is a ripoff from something else. And then the content, magical people doing school stuff, that's Harry Potter. That's a ripoff book. Or how about his parody book, Super Plumber Sisters, which I think I still need to review the last issue of. It's a funny book. But I digress. That's definitely like Mario inspired. And that's kind of the thing for the most part when it comes to creative media. You have all these people out there. There's only so many new ideas. And so a lot of times it's let's take an existing kind of idea, let's mutate it a little bit, let's put our spin on it, and let's see if people like it. And sometimes people really like it. Some of the most popular characters in the world originated this way. And you're like, what are you talking about, Elizibar? If I had my camera on, you would see me just kind of like cocking my head and looking at you over the rim of my glasses, which doesn't really work because I can't see that well. But, his name's Batman. Have you ever heard of him? Batman is a little known character from this small company called Detective Comics, DC. Oh, you know who Batman is? You maybe saw like the TV show from the 60s? Batman is a masked vigilante that uses the night as a weapon and has like an intuitive understanding of criminals. You know how many other characters that fits? Like just out of the pulp characters that he's ripping off, like I can think of like two off the top of my head without considering like the whole pulp universe. That's what the Shadow does. That's what the Spider does. And there was like a million of these pulp heroes back in the 20s and 30s in pulp magazines. They were very popular. Batman was cast in that mold. He was made in that image. He is a direct ripoff of those characters. You don't really see people going around saying, Batman's a ripoff anymore because Batman got more popular. But he is a ripoff. He's much more of a direct ripoff of his source material than Eliana is of any particular character in manga that I can think of. And probably more derivative than Common America is, if I'm honest. She has come so far from her origins as a side character bad guy that if I didn't know where she came from and I just started picking up like the Common America books, I would just see that kind of stuff in flashbacks and not care. My point is, and maybe I got 2 points. Yeah, my points are, let's go with that. Number one, there's not necessarily anything wrong with doing like rip-offs, as long as what you're ripping off is interesting and your spin you're putting on it is interesting. That's probably okay. I mean, just look at Marvel, right? You've got how many characters that are basically Superman rip-offs? You've got Gladiator, you've got Hyperion. There's probably more that I can think of. I'm just not thinking that deeply. They're basically Supermen. Like, they're just Supermans. That's it. The big two rip off characters and ideas from each other so often that you get to some really funny things like Deathstroke the Terminator and Deadpool. Deadpool is a pastiche of Deathstroke the Terminator. I'm sorry, it's true. He's a much funnier character and is probably much more popular now because I think if you mention Deathstroke to people, you're going to get a very smaller or a very small response compared to if you say Deadpool to somebody. That's just the nature of the business. When you're being competitive, you see what the other person is doing and you go, how can I do something with their success so I can be more successful and maybe do better than them? And it turns into like that cycle. The other thing is, if you're going to be like saying something is a ripoff and you're going to be pretending that it's bad, at least make sure the ripoff is egregious and the ripoff is actually bad and that the ripoff isn't just something like, oh, hey, whatever, these characters are kind of similar, when they're not at all remotely similar except they've got a hole in their costume where their chest is and they're blonde. That is literally the only similarity. Oh, I guess they both have long hair, but Eliana's hair sure appears to be a little bit longer in the picture, but maybe that's just a interesting piece of art. I don't remember her hair being quite that long from the book. I mean, that's like to the ground. Like, how does she keep that hair clean? I don't even know. So anyway, I digress from all this stuff. I just had to get this out of my system, and thank you for watching and hanging out with me. But this is a ridiculous comparison. Like, if you're going to have a complaint and you want to say somebody's ripping something off, you should make sure it's like a valid complaint. Like, if you go back to the 80s and you look at all the Ninja Turtle ripoffs, yeah, a lot of those were Ninja Turtle ripoffs. Space adventuring giant teenage hamsters or whatever, right? That's obviously a ripoff. And most of that stuff was a failure because people recognized it for the ripoff it was. All right, you all take care of yourselves. Have a great one, and bye-bye. See ya.